How does the learning model occur if it is carried out without anyone guiding or assisting? Of course, we don't expect much from the learning outcomes, especially if learning is done not born of our own desires. This condition can be analogous to someone who wants to go somewhere new but doesn't have information and directions for the address, lost, and this can happen to our students. Independent learning is one of the characteristics of online learning with asynchronous. Independent learning means learning that makes students independently determine and manage learning and determine their study time. The independent learning process makes students able to manage and regulate their learning process independently, which of course can be guided by the teacher in the process. However, independent learning in the context of the curriculum certainly requires a guide that contains learning objectives, learning materials, and indicators that must be achieved and learning steps that must be implemented. So those students don't get lost and can achieve their learning goals. A guide in the form of a module is needed, which can also function as a learning resource. Learning carried out by students through e-modules or electronic modules becomes an independent learning guide for students so that the learning process continues to lead to the achievement of learning objectives. This guide doesn't mean intervening students in their learning, but only as a guide to the goals that must be achieved in each learning materials present in the module. There are at least 3 requirements for a good module: having an attractive design with easy navigation, containing a menu structure as a ICAM, Introduction, Connection, Application, Motivation, and Evaluation, and equipped with interactive materials such as video, audio, image, graphics, and animation. The research aims to develop an effective e-module ICAM model to facilitate the independence of students in learning mathematics. The e-module, which is the product of this research, at least facilitates students in learning because 1. E-modules become a guide in the independent learning of students to be able to improve the quality of their learning. 2. E-modules help students to understand well the subject of mathematics in accordance with the learning syntax that is prepared with the ICAM model. 3. E-modules are developed based on the research and development flow and are present in accordance with the structure and systematic of writing modules that are interesting and easy to digest. In principle, in this research, I want to know whether the use of e-modules is effectively used by students so that they can be helped in learning independently during online learning activities with the asynchronous model. Through using the modules that are developed in accordance with the material to be studied, students can learn independently to achieve their learning goals.